Get ready to stitch them up.
The ring is one hell of a beast.
Alright, super easy. I'm open up the
It's time to impress.
video tab. You want to leave your base camera's resolution on 1920 by 1080. That way it doesn't drop all of the quality. You're going to want to go to common FPS value. Make sure you're on 60 frames per second. This might be on default, or you might be, you might have double dabbled.
This is your champion.
1920 by 1080, 720. If you want to, find a little happy medium, I've noticed that even on a single PC setup, depending on your hardware, that 1600 by 900 it's a happy medium. You maintain quality, and you don't notice that much of a input delay between your keyboard and mouse, or whatever peripherals you're using. And if your internet can handle it, if you're streaming on 1600 by 900, I stream on 7200 bitrate. The least amount of bitrate I would go on or recommend for 900p is about 5700. Otherwise, you'll start noticing a little bit of tearing during your live stream, or in certain lighting scenarios, it'll look a little bit fuzzy. You want to play with these settings, find whatever is the best for you. But yeah, a lot of times people are looking for 900p and you can't find it. You can literally just type it in 1600 x 900, and that's it, boys. It's super easy. If you guys enjoyed this content, if you want to see more tutorials, how-tos, etc., you hit me up on there if you guys want to see more on the next stream, if you guys are there. And if you guys are coming from YouTube and I see you on Twitch, let me know.
Let's land here. Get ready, moving out.
Copy that.
This DMs, and I'm like, you know what? So in Streamlabs OBS,
Copy that.
you head over to your settings. Let's first start off by going to the video tab. You want to make sure that this is a 1920 by 1080 and your output resolution is 1920 by 1080. Most of the time you'll be fine with using the bicubic Sharpen 16 sample. Just 30, but you can also rock 60 if your computer is pretty good. If we head over to the output tab, you'll see that right now my output mode is in simple. We actually want to select that drop down and go to advanced, and then under the streaming section, we can head over to the encoder. And let's first start off by looking at the X264 encoder option, which is your processor. If you don't have a dedicated graphics card, there's a good chance you only see the X264 option, which is your processor. But if you do have a dedicated graphics card, I'll get into the best settings for that in just a minute. You want to keep check in for streaming service encoder settings. I would not rescale the output. Rate control, you want to keep that at CBR, which stands for constant bit rate. That will keep the bit rate number that you set below that at this rate as much as it can. If you're not too sure what number you should set that bit rate, then you can type in on Google speed test and then just run a speed test, and this will calculate how fast your internet speeds are for download and upload. The important one we want to pay attention to is the upload speed, and it'll come back
First
in megabits
blood.
per second.
Gotta be someone.
It's
Glad it's not
almost
one of us.
6 megabits per second. Not too bad. I wish it were higher, of course. In Streamlabs OBS, I feel comfortable setting my bitrate to about 3,500 kilobits per second, which translates over to 3.5 megabits per second. So you can see that I have a little bit of space between my max capacity of upload speed bandwidth that I can utilize. Under that, I don't check off use custom buffer size. Keyframe interval, a good one to set it to is 2. A lot of streaming platforms prefer that. CPU usage preset. This is a very important step, which will depict how good or bad your quality of your picture is going to be. Default, it is at very fast, but if your processor is very good, you can go with faster, fast, and medium options, which will give you a very nice quality picture. If your processor isn't very good, you'll have to go with super fast or ultra fast, which aren't the greatest quality options, but you'll alleviate those drop frames. In the example footage, you can see just how choppy my gameplay is if my encoding speed is too slow and my processor can't handle it. I can also get choppy gameplay if my bitrate is set too high for the streaming platform to ingest. I don't recommend going over a bitrate of 4500. On the other hand though, if you set your encoding speed to be too fast and you have a very low bitrate, like in the 1500 to 2000 range, then you'll have this footage that you see right here, which is very blurry, doesn't look very appealing to the eye, and you don't want this either. You want to be somewhere in the middle, guys. For my case, I'll feel comfortable setting it to very fast. Profile, this is usually good just to set to main. Tune, this isn't really always necessary, but sometimes I like to go with 0 latency, just so my stream doesn't have a big delay to it. But other than that, those are the best settings for the song.
हाँ जी गेम में ही हूँ गेम ठीक है
Warning. Ring closing.
Looks like we're the next ring. Good.
Throwing thermite. Throwing Arc Star. He got me. I'm down.